What's up YouTube? Leo Sheng here, host of the ExtremePhillyFishing channel. Today is August 4th, 2016. I'm here in Haddonfield, New Jersey. You guys can hear the sound behind me, right? That's the sound of a little waterfall. I'm right here where the Upper Cooper River meets the Walworth Lake. Anyways, today I'm bringing you guys another tutorial since you guys requested it so much. I'm bringing you guys a tutorial on the Berkley Gulp Alive Minnow, 1 inch long. Alright, by the end of this video, you guys should be professionals when using this little lure right here that I use so much for my multi-species fishing and micro fishing. Alright, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the product itself, the gear that you are supposed to use together with this product, as well as the techniques that you can use using the 1 inch Gulp Alive Minnow. If you follow me on the YouTube channel and you watch my videos, you know that this is one of my most trusted soft plastic lures. So it works really well, and I really want to teach you how to use it, okay? So stay tuned for today's adventure. Hopefully you're going to learn a lot today, all right? Start fishing, let me just briefly give you a summary of the product that we're going to be using for today. And I would like to remind everyone here that I am not sponsored by Berkley. Berkley has not requested me to do a review video on this product. In other words, this is not a sponsored video, and I decided to do this tutorial out of good faith, alright, because I truly love this product, okay, and I use it all the time if you guys watch my videos, right? So what I have here with me, I'm gonna zoom in on the product, is the Gulp Alive Minnow 1 inch long by Berkley. This one here is the black shad color, although I also like the smelt color and the emerald shiner. You guys can see, right? It comes inside a little container. It is 1 inch long and it is scented, okay? It comes 25, I think, per container. I'm not sure. But anyways, it is a soft plastic, a small soft plastic that is very, very effective for multi-species and for microfishing, which is exactly why I am bringing you guys this tutorial. If you guys follow me on YouTube, if you guys watch my live streams, you know that every live stream there is someone who asked me the question, Leo, what is an all-around good lure for multi-species angling, right? And there you go. This is the answer, okay? Now, the product works really well, but one thing I need to talk to you guys about is about the container, all right? The jar. Make sure when you buy this product, once you open it one time and you remove the top, okay, just make sure that you be careful with it, because I mean, the product is really good, I gotta admit that. The jar is not so good, all right? I have had plenty of licks using this jar. So what I usually do, right, as you guys see, I remove some of the liquid in the jar, or I just transfer it to another container so I don't have those licks, all right? I'm just letting you know, because this thing is scented in a sweet liquid. You definitely don't want that to leak inside your tackle box, inside your your bag. So just make sure. I have warned you about the container, okay? Now, before we start fishing and before I talk about the techniques, just let's briefly go talk a little bit about the setup that it is necessary for you guys to use in conjunction with the Gulp Minnow. What's up, geese? You want to be on YouTube? Is that why you're walking towards me right here? Anyways, folks, let's talk a little bit about the setup that we're going to be using in conjunction with the Gulp Minnow. Lots of folks, I have recommended the Gulp Minnow to lots of folks previously, okay? And they have tried it, and some of them really told me, hey Leo, I went out, I bought it, but it didn't really work for me, And that's why I thought it was really necessary for me to bring you guys this portion of the video, because the Gulp Minnow is so small and so particular that in order to catch fish on it effectively, you do need to have the right gear for it, okay? Once you get accustomed to it and you know how to use it, you know the techniques, then you can use different types of gears for it. But the best thing that you can possibly use with the Gulp minnows is an ultralight setup. This is very, very important, okay? And that's because when it comes to the sport of fishing, the lighter you go, more sensitive you have when it comes to feeling your lures, right? So for ultralight right here, what I have for today is the Daiwa Spinmatic rod. This is a 5/6 rod, ultralight. Whoa, you guys can see it, right? Plenty of good action here. I'm pairing it up with a Shimano Sedona 500 FD. That's another ultralight reel, right? The 500 model that has worked for me really well in the past. I have had this reel for a long time and it has never disappointed me, okay? So rod and reel, you know, it doesn't need to be these brands, of course, but I mean, you know, just make sure your reel is in the range of 500 to 1,000, 500 preferred, all right, and rod wise between 4.6 to 5.6 ultralight, okay? Although this is a combo that I highly recommend. This combo cost me less than $100. I think the rod is 30 bucks and the reel nowadays is maybe in the range of 60 bucks, I'm not sure. But anyways, ultralight setup, okay? Besides the rod and the reel, of course, the most important thing is the line, okay? The line that you are going to use with the Gulp Minnow. I'm using 4 pounds Berkley Vanish fluorocarbon, okay? It just so happens that it is a Berkley product as well, but what matters the most here, it is that it is 4 pounds test line and it is fluorocarbon. You will come to understand why this is so important once I start fishing with it, okay? It allows you to feel the lure so much better when you have line that is like this, and the fact that it is this fluorocarbon lets your lure sink so much better, so the action on it is kind of maximized as well. And after you have all of your setup ready, the last thing that is extremely important when using the Gulp Minnow, the jig head, okay? In this video, the 3 techniques that I'm going to be talking about, they are all jigging techniques. You need to jig them, okay? There are different types of jigging, but it's all jigging. And in order to jig, you need a jig head, okay? When you put the Gulp Minnow on a regular hook, it just doesn't look as good presentation wise as if you were going to put it on a jig head. So this is my trusted jig head that I use in junction with the Berkley Gulp Minnow. This is a trout magnet jig head made by Leyland Lures, 1/64 ounce, okay? Very, very light. So this is the setup that we're going to be using for today. I think I've talked enough about the setup. Let's get the fishing started, let's get the techniques started, and hopefully we'll catch some fish to show you guys, and by the end of this video you are going to be professionals when it comes to using this product, okay? Let's do it. Let me briefly talk to you guys about the 3 different jigging techniques that we're going to be using today. The first jigging technique that I'm going to be using is called the vertical jigging. Gulp Minnow 1 inch long is just really, really good for vertical jigging. Now, I know what you are thinking. When you hear the word vertical jigging, a lot of people think about boats, you know? You are on a boat and you just drop your line down and you jig it, right? A little bit suspended all the way from the bottom. And that is absolutely fine. But just because you can do it from a boat, that does not mean that you cannot do vertical jigging from shore, as I will show you today. So let's do some vertical jigging right now, and I'm going to show you that doing vertical jigging, this is one technique that will allow you to catch fish on the Gulp Minnow. Let's do it. Oh, fish on, fish on. You see that, folks? First fish of the day. A small largemouth bass, vertical jigging right here. And I mean, when you do the vertical jigging, right, one thing is you gotta feel only one thump, usually, if it is a big fish, you know? I mean, this is not a big fish, but for the gold minnow, this is a decent fish. You gotta feel only one thump when it comes to the gold minnow. You know, when you do the vertical jigging, the fish is pretty much just going to get it and swallow it whole, and that's how it works. As you guys can see, I'm doing my vertical jigging right in front of a little fish ladder. Now, keep in mind, some states that have rules and regulations that don't allow you to fish in front of a fish ladder. They usually have like a 100 feet distance from rules and regulations. In New Jersey, after July 30th, it is legal to fish ladders like this, okay? So anyways, we're gonna do some more vertical jigging right now. I'm pretty much just dropping the gold minnow straight down until I feel that it hits all the way down, and then I just suspend it a little bit and I jig it slowly, right, until I feel that thump. So let's catch some more fish. Oh man, even the small bass decided to join the fray. Check this out, so small, so cute. Check that out, small largemouth. All right, the vertical jigging is going good, don't take me wrong. I've caught plenty of bluegills and whatnot, but nothing big yet. But as you guys saw, you know, vertical jigging is really this one technique that is very beneficial with the gold minnow, since you can use it from anywhere elevated, right? Such as a bridge, a pier, or anything else. The second jigging technique that we're going to be using for today is really the traditional cast and jig, all right? And for this type of jigging, you really don't need anything else as well. You only need your line, your jig head, and your lure. And what you do is you just cast it out there. See, it's very good castability because I'm using ultralight. Then you let it sink to the depth that you desire, and it's not quite a steady retrieve. See that? It is kind of a retrieve with a little jigging there. We got a yellow perch, second species of the day. A little yellow perch, Perca flavincens, came up here on the gulp minnow. There you go. Yeah, so this is exactly what we do. You got the idea? Once again, you cast it out there, you let it sink to the depth that you want, and then it is not quite a steady retrieve. You kind of retrieve and you jig it, and then if there's fish around, you know, you are doing that motion that the fish is kind of swimming in the water in a very weird way, maybe dying, you know, maybe an easy meal, and predators and other species of fish will come and whack it. You know, this is pretty much what the cast and jigging is all about. And I would like to emphasize, right, for this fishing style, this technique, it is fundamental that you use ultralight, because if you use stuff that is a little bit too heavy, you won't be able to cast as far. And having good castability with this technique is definitely fundamental, because of course, if you cast, you know, further, right, you can cover more water. You know, in other words, your chances of catching fish are a little bit higher. So let's continue to do this and see. Oh, there we go, and see if we can catch some more fish. We got a small, very small largemouth bass right here. Third fish of the day. There we go, very small. Hit the gold minnow, just like that. Fish on. That's a nice one. Four-pound test line, you know. Gotta let it run a little bit. That's a nice fish for this place. I'm not gonna lie. That's a nice bass for a 1-inch gold minnow. Oh yeah! Check this out. This is very likely one of the biggest bass that I ever caught here at this place. check that out. Right at the falls. Yeah, waiting for that little fish to pass by. Cast and jig, folks. It's working well today. There we go, huh? Beautiful fight on 4-pound test line. Did I ever tell you guys that ultralight really gives you a great fight? Check this out. Check this fella out. 1-inch gold minnow. It may not be a trophy, but it's a nice fish, you know, it's a nice fish for the gold minnow. Check that out. There we go. What we got here? Little black crappie. The jigging is going great today. We got ourselves a little black crappie. The third technique that we are going to be using for today is what I like to call suspended jigging. I actually made a small video, a short video on this previously. I'm gonna link it in the cards above if you want to check it out. But a suspended jigging is pretty much as the cast and jig, but instead of just a steady retrieve with the twitching, right, with the jigging, you use a float to facilitate your fishing style. So you throw it out there, right, like we're gonna do right now, and if you don't jig it, your gold minnow is just going to suspend in the water. What you want to do is you want to reel in the slack and just jig it a few times. You see how when I jig, the float kinds of move a little bit? That's exactly the action that you want, okay, for your suspended jigging, because every time that floats move, your jig head down there with your gold minnow moves a little bit as well. And then the fish sees that kind of stuff. The fish really thinks, man, this is an easy meal because we got a small fish here that is dying, you know, and then the fish goes there and whacks your gold minnow. This is the third technique. You know, it is much better when it comes to casting because you can really put a weighted float like I did right here, right? And really cast all the way out there. You can cover a lot of water. The problem is if you are fishing in an area where fish are finicky per se, okay, and they see this float connected, you know, some fish, they are able to have good perception. They see there's a float connected to your jig head, you know, your presentation is not as great as the casting and jigging. So like I mentioned, you know, this third technique, suspended jigging, you kind of sacrifice a little bit of a presentation to facilitate your fishing style. All right, fish on! Let's see what we got here. Let's see, we got our third species of the day, which is the bluegill, the Lepomis macroceros. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys in this video already or not, but you know, this third technique, right, the suspended jigging using a float is really the best technique that you have out there for kids, okay? It is just easier for kids to learn this technique because you have a float on. In other words, the float is kind of your bite indicator, right? You just throw your stuff out there and you tell kids, hey kids, just twitch it a little bit, right? Twitch the float a little bit, keep reeling in and just twitch it a little bit, and then, you know, if the float disappears, hey, you know, there's a fish on, right? So if you are teaching kids how to use the Gulp product, you know, and you want them to have some fun, this technique really beats the other two in terms of being easy to use, okay? Because ultimately you have a float out there, and kids, you know, I mean, the feeling of the float disappearing it's quite unique, right? When your float disappears, oh, there we go. When your float disappears, you just know it's something exciting, right? So anyways, let's keep fishing. Let's see if we can catch some more fish. Stay tuned. Fish on. What we got here, huh? What we got here? Oh, fourth species of the day. A little black crappie. Check that out, on the float. Nice. Alrighty, little black crappie has suffered enough in the hands of the Asian, so we gotta release this little fella there. Check that out, huh? What a beautiful sign. Always a beautiful sign, you know, watching a fish swim away. There's that one. Fish on! What we got here? Bluegill, alright. Beautiful specimen here under the float. A nice Lepomis macrocyrus, the bluegill. Although we caught the species today already. Blue on the operculum, black opercular flap, half purple, half color. There we go. What a beautiful sample. There we go. Beautiful little bluegill. Deserves a nice release here. So let's release it over here. Whoa, man, he was ready to go. Whew. Folks at home. We're gonna end this tutorial right here. It was another tough day here in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area. I mean, it is summertime, you know, and summertime is just tough for fishing. But anyways, we caught how many different species of fish today? Let's see. We caught the bluegill, the Lepomis macrocyrus, we caught the largemouth bass, the Micropterus salmoides, the yellow perch, Perca flavescens, and we got what? The black crappie, Pomoxis nigromaculatus. So we finished our day with 4 different species of fish. That's to show you that the gulp is not only good, right, when it comes to fishing, it is awesome when it comes to multi-species fishing, okay? We didn't even land any white perch today, right? That is the Moroni americana. We didn't land any of the green sunfish, the pumpkin seed, all those other types of sunfish, and yet we caught 4 different types of fish. So I mean, I always complain that the fishing is tough, you know, but I mean, I'm always happy that I didn't get skunked, you know what I'm saying? We got 1 largemouth bass today that was alright. We got 1 yellow perch that was kind of a surprise catch, right? I can't say that I'm disappointed, okay? I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I had a lot of fun making this tutorial, alright? So I hope you learn a lot. You go out there, fish, and apply that knowledge, and hopefully you will be able to land some fish using gulp products, okay? The Gulp Alive Minnow 1 inch long. Tie lines, folks, and until next video.